Yeah, welcome to another episode of Ruggers. Francois, we've got some schoolboy rugby news. Exciting.
Very exciting.
SARU has announced a group of 45 players that they're going to thin out to 35 that's going to tour to Georgia for a 3-match test series. It's not a SA Schools team, it's a South African high performance team or invitational team. So I think we must differentiate with that from the beginning. It's not a SA Schools team. Obviously there was some schools played 4, some schools that's got boys in the group doesn't even played 1 game.
Yes, and it ties in with our earlier edition of the schoolboy rugby and the few games that were played this year. So selection based on the few matches that were played last year and this year. And because interestingly enough, before 21 of the group of 45 players actually come out of the under-17 green group.
Yeah, that was the 2020's green group.
Yes.
The under-17s in 2020's green group. 21 of, I think there were 65 under-17s in that group. So that shows you also that, and if you look at the selection with only, how many players of Gauteng we said, of the Northern Provinces?
Only 5 players from Gauteng.
Yeah, so if you take the North-South and the Monash Festival and everything, and you look at the performance of the players during those matches, there's a lot of players missing.
Names that are what I was expecting to see there were not there. Is it due to injury or just non-performance or both?
Well, I mean, we can just speculate. We don't know.
Yeah, we didn't select.
Yeah, there's kids there that wasn't in the under 17 high performance squad last year that got selected without playing a game this year. So I think a lot of input from coaches and everything, and it's not a worry. It's been happening for how many years? It all depends on what school you are, how involved your coach is, and that kind of stuff. If a choice is to be made between 2 boys and the one coach is on the ball and the other coach is a bit distant, the coach that promotes his players the most, those players are going to be selected.
And I just want to bring in the value of the Monash Festival this year and the value of the North-South Noord-Zuid Festival this year, which I actually watched the half-an-hour highlights of all of the best tries during Noord-Zuid. And there was some very good rugby played, and a lot of boys had the opportunity then and did put up their hands in that tournament. And yeah, unfortunately, I think for the North, it wasn't a good tournament at all.
Yeah, but one has to ask a question. I mean, Garsfontein had 5 under-17s in the green group and everything. These guys have been working with them. They're known as brilliant rugby players.
And now they're not
that they really deserve to be, well, you can't say dropped, but not making the 45. Yes. The same with Office, the same with Monash. Menlo Park had 4 or 5 players. None of them were selected. It's just, yeah, I would like to know how it was selected. None of the Boland schools are represented here.
Yeah.
And normally the Boland schools, they dominate. I mean, Jos Day RTS hasn't got
Boland Landbou.
Boland Landbou is missing. Paul Roos is missing.
Yes.
So yeah, yeah. Let's talk about it. A lot of players was called and asked, "Do you have a passport?"
Well, interesting.
Before the final list was made available, so that could have also played a role in the selection of the 45. But like all of that, like the under-20s and everything, that's a squad that's selected.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm very happy that this is taking place. In this difficult time.
Again for SARU, hats off to SARU. We would have changed it 1 or 2 other ways, but yeah, we also a bit biased to the bigger schools and everything. But yeah, it's nice to see Volkies Graafrenet has got 1 player there, no?
Yes.
And Rustenburg is also, but the guy from Rustenburg, I think he played himself into contention with with
I mean,
the Monas Festival.
Hudson Park, you know, apart from your Henties, apart from your big schools, smaller
There's
schools.
one or two smaller schools also there.
Yeah, which shows that you know it wasn't just focused on the bigger schools. So.
So yeah, that group of 45 will be cut down to 35 on the 29th, and they will depart, and then they will all get together in, most probably the 28th, because the 29th they all get together in Cape Town, where they will leave that Sunday afternoon. They will leave for Georgia. And
hopefully the boys have been staying fit and staying
they've already been in bubbles, placed in bubbles. They didn't go to school because the schools also didn't open up yet. But I know some of the coaches or all the players were put into groups, or smaller groups of 5 to 6 players, and they were with a coach which did some exercises and everything with them, and in the gym and everything. So yeah, the preparation, it seems, is well thought through.
Yeah. Anyway, very excited. Let's see who actually gets to tour. Let's hope there's no COVID issues. And yes, all the best for the boys in the group, and the boys that were not selected. You know what? It's not the end.
Yeah, that's the sorry part of the green group, because personally I think SARI just closed the gate to a lot of boys. Obviously, here they show they haven't, because only 21 of the 45 comes from the green group that was announced last year. But yeah, it just sends the wrong message to the players. I'm not part of the green group, so I won't make it.
Yeah, but you know what? Tomorrow's another day, and opportunities do come around. So you never know.
Yeah, and then the other groot skinder news, and I think that will tie in with what the rest of the country is planned or planning of the schoolboy rugby. I spoke to a few coaches. Some said yes, some said no. Apparently, the interschools, and if we talk interschools, we're talking Paul Boys against
There's only
Paul
one interschools, and that's Paul Interschools.
two. But in any case, that was on the 1st of July. The two schools issued a statement where they said it was postponed till a later date. We've learned through, we can say the grapevines, fairly accurate, yes, that the match is now planned for the 2nd of October. But apparently there's a...
Well, you know, for those who don't know, biggest interschools in the world, best attended interschools in the world, been coming for many years, and traditionally played on the Paul A field as a neutral... Forest Street as a neutral ground. So it's not played at any... the senior or the under 15As, 16As, second team, first team.
And don't forget the night before the old boys game.
As well. So traditionally those games are played on the neutral territory, but each year the schools host the other school for the rest of the matches. So this year I think it's Paul Gim's turn.
It's Gim's turn to host the others, yes. And apparently that's also part of the problem, because Paul Boishaai field, it must be on a neutral field like previously in the history. Let's hope Paul Gim, Paul Boys, we know you guys, both passionate rugby supporters, just get a solution. Yeah. So the 2nd of October, I'm definitely going to be there. So Adelaide, jy and Francois, I'm visiting again. But yeah, so, and that seems like it's going to happen, that most of your top rugby schools are planning matches for September, October, to fit in other derbies. That's
because there are other big derbies.
Yeah, there are other bigger derbies also. You haven't been to.
I'm prejudiced. I'm an old gym boy, so I'm not going to apologise for it. It's a fact. But yes, there are other big derbies. Office Grey, Maritzburg, Boishaai. I mean, the list is long. So let's hope that the opportunity is there for those other derbies.
Well, the opportunities will be there. It's just the schools must decide to take it, and let's hope the other schools follow suit for Boishaai and Paul Gim. Obviously, they won't go into the match without 1 or 2 matches beforehand. And yeah, let's see if we can revive schoolboy rugby in the, what's it, Third term.
Third term going on to close to fourth.
Yeah, luckily, what also played a role is the matric exams was also postponed by
2 weeks.
With 2 weeks, so that helps.
Only starting in November. Yeah, so.
And I can also confirm from Salu's side, the Craven Week and the Under 16 Grand Coma is a definite go at this stage.
In October.
In October.
Okay.
Yeah, the school holidays of October. So I think the 2nd of October is the start of the school holidays. And thereafter the guys will move to Craven Week. We will have to see if Western Province will allow the guys to play in that interschools and then go over to the Craven Week. That's also another question. But yeah, that's schoolboy rugby. Seemingly there is a lot of work, or we know there's a lot of work being done behind the curtains and everything to get a late season started again. So let's have a look.
Yeah, and to the boys, it's very disruptive, but fast bait. Keep on practicing, keep on being positive.
And Boishaai, because this ugly oak is Paul Gim supporter, this year I will only eat cupcakes. That's bought from, I think the engine garage is Paul Boishaai, no? Yeah, the engine garage. I'll go and buy my cupcakes there. And at the spa, we'll meet each other there.
Yeah, on separate sides of the town.
Definitely. But yeah, great. That's wonderful news. I mean, that's a tradition that goes on for how many years already.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that the two parties really wants to keep the whole thing alive. Thank you so much. Enjoy the week.